Cincinnati Music Festival has attracted thousands of people to the city of Cincinnati dating all the way back to the 60s. What was once a weekend in the month of July has turned into a week full of events and attractions that make Cincinnati the place to be in July. From Black Tech Week, the Black Music Walk of Fame, the Cincy Taste of Soul, and the Cincinnati Music Festival, thousands of people will be gathering here in our city to get a little taste of what Cincinnati has to offer. This week being a week of celebrating Black music and Black innovation, we must showcase how Black businesses and brands work together to make Cincinnati great. The Cincy Black Travel Guide is a digital interactive guide created to give tourists and residents a week-long list of activities happening during the week. Plus, it will showcase all the amazing Black businesses that we have here in our city. It will be full of discounts and amazing offers for you to come and enjoy Cincinnati local businesses. So get your business signed up to be a part of the Cincy Black Travel Guide because Cincinnati is the place to be in July. Get your Cincy Black Travel Guide by visiting www.cincyblacktravel.com. Yo, 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 it is the Queen Aziza Nubia, and we are back with another Natural Boss Talk episode. I am excited about this guest we are bringing on tonight and the things that we're going to be talking about. We're talking about money, we're talking about finances, we're talking about investing, we're talking about travel, and I have the man himself, DJ the Money Coach, who's going to be coming on and sharing with us some of the amazing projects that he has going on, as well as giving us some of that amazing experience that he has when it comes to making money. Like he gonna show us how we can make about $8,000 a month. Like I'm telling you, he's about to give us everything that we need. So make sure you sit tight, sit back, and get your notepad. You know how we do it here on Natural Boss Talk. Get your notepad. We about to elevate and we about to get the bag. And so I'm gonna bring on our special guest, DJ the Money Coach. How are you doing today? And I think you're muted. I think your mic is muted on my end.
Nope, sorry about that.
Okay.
I am doing extremely well. AZ, I want to thank you for having the honor and the privilege to be on your amazing show, The Natural Boss Talk. I don't take it lightly. I take it very seriously, and I'm honored and privileged to be here. So thank you for having me today.
That is super awesome. I'm excited to have you. So why do people call you DJ the Money Coach? How did you get that name?
Man, that's a great question. Actually, I am a former baseball player, played high school and college baseball, and I actually started a baseball coaching program back in 2010 for 7-year-olds up to 16-year-olds. And my first name and my middle name are started with D and J, and they used to call me Coach DJ. So I had, prior to that, was already in the financial service industry. So that name, DJ, Coach DJ, was a great little moniker. And then when I came back into the financial education industry, I decided to go with DJ the Money Coach because that's how most of the parents and the children I work with over the past 13 and a half years address me. So I actually trademarked that about 3 years ago, and I have been speaking on platforms for 15 years as DJ the Money Coach. So that's how I came up with that, and it's been a great brand, and we're excited about it.
Okay, so I'm excited to learn more about all the things that you do and what you have to offer. I've been doing my research on you, and you have something called Wi-Fi. What is Wi-Fi? Like, let's start there. What is Wi-Fi?
Man, that's another great question. So Wi-Fi is an acronym that I coined in 2003. Why financial independence? Why financial independence? So it's Wi-Fi. So most people out here, AZ, they make strong professional incomes, but they don't have professional wealth. So in order to achieve professional wealth, you have to achieve financial independence. And the definition to financial independence is to be totally consumer debt free and have a strong passive income of $8,333 a month coming into your household every month, day in, day out, 365 days of the year. So if you achieve Wi-Fi, you are actually free on the planet. So over the past 20 years, when I started my organization called Duransburg International 7 Spheres of Money, I figured out that most professionals, again, have professional income, but they don't have professional wealth. What do I mean by that? AZ, if your ability to produce this show today stopped because you lost your voice, will the income keep running in from the show? If the question answer is no, then you don't have Wi-Fi and you're not middle class wealthy. Now, if the answer is yes, that means you have achieved certain levels of passive income, be it through memberships, be it through sponsorships, through honorariums, or if you're on the business side in real estate, you have passive income coming through residential property, apartment complexes, big boxes, mobile home parks of that nature. So that would actually give you true financial independence, which in essence is Wi-Fi. Why? Financial independence. And I actually have a formula that I created, AZ, that can actually tell you how to become financially independent, the exact day, the exact month, and the exact year by taking all your debt, all your passive income, and put it into an algorithm, and it'll tell me exact day, time, and year and month that you will actually achieve Wi-Fi.
Okay, that was a lot. So let's start with, how do you come up with the number 8,333? What's the significance in that number? Because that
First and
caught my
foremost,
attention.
first and foremost, that equals $100,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
$8,333 a month and 33 cents times 12 months is exactly $100,000. And most people who make $100,000 in America, based on 335 million tax returns that were filed last year in 2022, the average person, I'm talking about individual, that makes $100,000 a year, they're in the top 12% income earners in all of America.
Wow.
So if you can get your home paid off, you can pay off your car and have no consumable debt and achieve $8,333 a month in passive income, you can live comfortably in anywhere in the United States. I don't care if you're in California or if you're in New York. Here's the reason why I say this, AZ, and this is very important, because I built a program called the 7 Spheres of Money, and I actually created it in 2002. And what the 7 Spheres of Money is, I actually have accounting firms, insurance firms, I have banking firms, I have financial planning firms, real estate firms, legal firms, and estate planning firms. And I have personally sat down with over 35,000 individual middle-class professionals from 2002 to 2022 of December. And when I did all of their finances about 10 years ago, I started to see a very consistent pattern. If you had all your debt paid off, including your house and your car, and you never carried a balance on a credit card, your average person who made $8,333 a month, they could actually take 2 vacations a year, 7 days, 6 nights. They could actually fund their full retirement, their 401k, their solo 401k, their 403b, their Roth IRAs, college tuition, and they can even take care of a charity at 10%, and they would still have $1,600 a month left after achieving $8,333 a month in passive income if they had their house paid off, their car paid off, and they did not carry any consumable debt. That is the magic number to freedom. Now, what we also have done, we have adjusted that for inflation. So I hear your people right now. Well, what about me, DJ? If my household income is $150,000, $200,000, then in all actuality, you would rack that up to $10,000. And if you're over $250,000, all you have to do is make $12,000 a month in passive income. You can live anywhere on the planet. And I'll give your audience 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count, how I can guarantee that works. Would you like to take the first stab at it? What's your first question if that's even true?
Oh, man, I got a million questions.
Run them by me.
How?
First and foremost, the average middle-class house in America runs about $385,000. Okay. In my master class, I actually teach people what true professional income is for the middle class. And then I take them to 5 different websites that are government-based websites, one for tax returns. Here's the funny thing about it. Our incomes have not been going up. There's been a lot of millionaires created, a lot of billionaires created, but the middle class is actually going back in income. So the average person who's middle class. Here's my definition of professional middle class. As an individual, you make $75,000 a year. As a married couple, you have a household income between $150 to $250, depending on if you live on the West Coast or the East Coast. But if you live in the Midwest, you're looking at household incomes for middle class about $140,000. So at that point, even if you had a mortgage, the average person has a house of about $380,000. If they got good credit, AZ, their mortgage payment on a $380,000 house is about $1,800. So let's just round that up to $2,000. You still got $6,333 left of passive income. Now let's pay for retirement. They fully fund their retirement, and let's say they are 50 years of age, and a Roth IRA, the maximum you can put is $500 a month into a Roth IRA. Now, if you are 50 and above, you can put up to $7,000 a year, which is essence is $583 a month. Okay, so call that $6,000, but that's only $500 a month. So out of that $6,000, $333, you still have $5,800 left. Now you have $5,800 left. You paid on your mortgage. You fully fund your Roth IRA. Now you can contribute to your 403B, your 401k, your solo 401k. You can contribute up to sometimes 6% of your average income, right? Let's just say you have $100,000 income, which is $8,333 a month. That's $6,000. So that's another $500 you're contributing. So you got $5,800 left. Now you fully fund your 401k, take $500 out. Now you still have $5,300 left. Now let's say you have, like me, you have 4 children. You can now fund your children's college or their retirement, again, another $1,000. So now you have $4,800 a month left. Now you can take that $4,800 left, and now you can fund 2 full paid vacations at $2,000 a piece. So that now leaves you with $2,800 left. And then you can take that $2,800 AZ and contribute 10% to charity. And you will still have about $1,600 left to do whatever you would like to do. And when I figured that out in 2010, I coined the phrase $8,333 a month can get you free. And I'll let you know real quick. Here's a backdrop on my story, which you didn't ask me. You asked me how I became DJ the Money Coach, but here's the reason why I am who I am. In 1994, 95, I tried to buy my first home. I had a professional income. I think it was about $60,000, $70,000 a year at the time. I went to my bank. I filled out the paperwork. I had been banking with the bank for about 7-10 years, and I got turned down for a loan. I was kind of discouraged, but I didn't really go into depth because it really mattered. I was single, so I didn't really care that much about it. So I continued to rent, right? But then I started a business about 2 years later. I took that business to 6 figures, and I went back to that same bank, AZ, and I wanted to get a business loan. I got turned down again. At that point, I was very frustrated, and I was actually about to quit because I knew I had 6 figures in that bank account. But I asked the underwriter, I said, why did you turn me down this second time? He said, well, I don't know if you noticed. He said, but you got a 525 credit score. He said, on top of that, you got $60,000 worth of consumables debt, my friend. So even though I got an accounting background, I went to school to become a CPA. Did not finish the CPA, but I did have an accounting background. I was doing corporate taxes for a business. Right. And when I realized I knew nothing about personal financing, I did not make an excuse to file bankruptcy. I read a book, actually one chapter of a book called Road to Wealth by Susie Orman, and it showed me the 5 quadrants of personal financing. Now, this is in the analog days. The internet wasn't really booming where you can get information so freely. I still had to go to the library, right? So I went to the library, read that chapter, saw Susie Orman on PBS, and I read that chapter. Within 12 months, my credit score went from 525 to 700. 24 months after that, AZ, my credit score went to 800. About time 2002 came, which was about 5-6 years later, I paid off all of my consumable debt. My income went above 6 figures. And from there, I started my 7 Spheres of Money business. And 6 years later, in 2008, I was audited by the IRS. And they told me that I made over $250,000 a year personally. And I had a 7-figure net worth. At that point in time, I knew I was not the only person that had this problem. And what mainly magnified for me, AZ, I actually saw a show on 60 Minutes. They had interviewed a whole bunch of professionals across the country. They had doctors, lawyers, engineers, and architects, and they had the same problem I had. They had high-level educations, zero intelligence when it came to finances. And some of these people at that time, in like 2001, had $250,000 worth of consumable debt. I knew I had stumbled onto something that needed to be fixed, and I created the 7 Spheres of Money system.
Wow. So you just literally dropped a bomb on us of information. I told y'all when to get your paper and your notepad to be writing down, because he's giving us the game right now. So you talked about what we do, like how we can utilize this $8,333, how we can use it to clear our debt, pay off mortgages, take care of kids, retirement. How, I know the biggest question that everybody's thinking is, how do we make that money?
I thought you'd never ask. Okay. So here's what I'm going to share with you. Everybody on this planet, God has given amazing gifts and amazing talent. And a lot of times we are masters of nothing and jack of all trades. Okay. So I'm going to give you the first book that your audience ought to read. The first book that your audience ought to read, and I don't get paid any numerations from this whatsoever. It is called The Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Dr. Carol S. Dweck. And what she talks about is that those 6 inches between your ears is not about perfection. It's about constant evolution and evolving. So if you have the mindset and you take that, AZ, and then you read this next book that is called Good to Great, okay? And this book here, I actually help professionals determine what type of skills that they have. And all you have to do is read chapter 5. Chapter 5 is called The Hedgehog Concept. It talks about a 3-legged stool. So the first thing I would ask you, AZ, if you want to know how to get to that $8,333 a month, I'm going to ask you one question based on the hedgehog concept. What is your passion and what are your skills that I can help you, make into a massive business? What is your passion? What is your skill? That's the first leg of the 3-legged stool. Okay. Number 2, AZ, what is the niche? You have to be a specialist. You can't be a generalist to make great money. So now we'll show you what is the specialty that you have from that passion and that skill. And then the last one was most important. How do I get people in front of me to figure out if I'm the best that I can help them become the best at what they are? So let me show you, encapsulate what my hedgehog concept is. Number 1, I am passionate about financial education. Why? Because I had $60,000 worth of consumer debt. I had a 525 credit score. I overcame it without playing the victim. That's number 1. My skill is I have an accounting background and I know how to do P&Ls, K1s, all of that good stuff. And I was able to bring those two together. And then the second thing, what is my niche? I figured out that the middle class had a void that would never be filled, because here's the problem. You're highly educated, AZ, and you want to deal with UBS, you want to deal with Goldman Sachs, and you want to deal with Merrill Lynch. But here's the problem. If you don't have $5 million cash, they're never going to talk to you. Now, here's your problem. If you have multiple degrees, you're never going to deal with, and don't get me in trouble with the company I'm about to say, but I mean nothing negative about them. But here's the reality. If somebody comes up to you with a Walmart financial service, they make less money than you, less educated, AZ, you're likely psychologically not to work with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So here's the rub. You don't make enough money to work with UBS and Goldman Sachs. You're too educated and you make more money than the person pursuing you to do financial services in the Walmart of financial services. So you're stuck. So where's the fix? The fix is we come in with the 7 Spheres of Money and we've created a system specifically for middle class professionals. And then on top of that, AZ, I have a super niche. I actually do business exclusively for Black professionals as well. I help everybody in the middle class, but then I have a super niche to help Black middle class professionals. And then the third thing is, how do I get people to find out if we're great at what we do? You know what I do? I come on shows like yours and I allow people to ask me any question under the sun. And I tell them real simply, since I'm a licensed professional, like Henry Ford said, if I can't answer the question, Everybody on my team has 15 years in corporate America doing 7-figure deals, 8 and 9-figure deals. There's not a question that I can't push a button or hit a text and I can get the answer. And I can show you step by step, AZ, how to create your business. I can show you how to take that business, take the corporate revenue, buy real estate the proper way, and leverage the tax laws on your pathway in 2 to 5 years to create $8,333 a month and passive income and pay off all your debt in the process. And now you will be free. I've been doing this since 2000. 35,000 people personally, and over 150,000 people have come through my system across the country and internationally.
So there you have it, people. That's the roadmap to how you can make $8,333. It's a lot of information, but I guarantee you guys, when we come on here and we talk about finances, we talk about money, it's nothing easy, especially in our community. We're not taught these things. So it's going to take discipline. I know a lot of our followers, we always complain, well, I just want to have my money to travel and to go shopping and to do this. But that stuff is good, but you got to think long term when it comes to your finances. You can't be just stuck on the short term, because that's the only way. We all want freedom. Like we just had Juneteenth. Freedom is the key. So I'm loving the conversation. Do you think it's time for us to show your first slide video that you wanted us to share?
Sure, absolutely, sure. Show them one of those, and we'll come back and I'll show them how through 20 years I've actually have built 12 companies, and 12 companies were learning tools to get my PhD in entrepreneurship, AZ, and 4 of my companies have done 7 figures plus annually, and we have a company right now, which is a resort. It's actually an 8-figure company that will be a 9-figure company in the next 5 years.
All right. I'm ready to see this intel. All right, so here we go. I'm about to press play on this first video, and we will be right back, guys.
My name is Victoria Akapala, currently a preventive medicine here in Atlanta, Georgia. I just recently graduated from Morehouse School of Medicine. Grateful to be a part of this opportunity, a part of the All-Star community. Really excited to finally get off YouTube University and stop listening to all the different financial gurus and experts. You have to discern through everything. So it's quite a lot of work, and I'm grateful to be a part of this team now. So I first saw DJ the Money Coach. It was early 2020. I was still in the military at Fort Hood, Texas. And by the grace of God, I knew, and it was on the Erica Williams show as well, that this is where I wanted to be planted so that I can grow and get organized. So my financial goals right now to get into the diversification, looking into different sectors. For me personally, I really don't want to invest too heavily in traditional financial markets such as stock markets, 401k. I really want to basically diversify individually and in individual sectors. And then lastly, giving back. Goal eventually, I want to retire from being a physician and be able to work for free. And have my supplemental income that doesn't come from me being a physician to kind of support me, myself, and my family, and also future investments. So I'm thankful for this opportunity, and that's my intro, and I'm ready to get organized. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was just a testimonial. I just loved everything she said. First off, let me say that. Everything that she was talking about are definitely the things that I wish for myself. So I'm already hooked right now. Could you tell us a little bit about where that testimonial, where that client is at now? Is she able to reach her goals, or what she able to reach her goals?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, she is just starting her residency, and we actually are helping her knock down professional student loan debt, which is one of my biggest pet peeves, AZ. So a physician like her actually comes out of medical school with $200,000, $300,000 worth of professional debt. Generally, lot of times more than a house that you buy, right? So what we're doing with Dr. Victoria is we're putting on her accelerated debt pay down program that I actually show people, because I used to also be a owner in a mortgage bank. Back from 2006 to 2010, there's an actual tax loophole that allows you to actually transfer student loan debt into corporate debt. And I'll give you the main reason why this is capable. Because have you ever worked for a corporation and they ever told you you can go back to school and they'll reimburse you if you get a C, B, or an A? They generally tell you, AZ, if you get an A, we pay 100% of your reimbursement for you, correct?
Right.
They say if you get a B, we pay 80%. And if you get a C, we pay like 50%. But here's what the tax code says. I want you to write this down, AZ, and I want your audience to write this down because nobody will ever tell you this, and most CPAs don't even explain this. The tax code is called CAFE Rule 125. That means that all employee benefits for the corporation are 100% tax write-off, including tuition reimbursement. And what the law says, all you have to do, AZ, is pass the course. You don't have to get an A. If you get a D, it's 100% reimbursement to the corporation. Thus, we're going to show Dr. Victoria how to accelerate down her $250,000 worth of debt into corporate debt. And then we're going to show her through real estate how to make it disappear in 5 years. So she's right now on that pathway, and she actually has started to do some small investing with us as we're starting to help her create passive streams of income. And that is a bona fide winner. And I can tell you 98% of the CPAs that you deal with will never tell you about CAFE 125. But the irony of it is, if they do corporate taxes, they apply this tax code every day of the week for Fortune 500 and international companies. And I just figured out if it works for them, it works for us.
Now that is something. That's definitely something. I wrote that down on my notebook. I got CAFE 125.
CAFE Rule 125. If you go to irs.gov, look it up. It'll explain everything. And since I learned about that 20 years ago, I have never been a W-2. I've been a corporation, and I actually am an officer of my company, and it allows me all the benefits that officers get as well. I also show small business owners how to accelerate the 8 different entity structures that only the IRS recognize. See, here's the thing. A lot of people are in love with the LLC, but the reality is in today's climate, you are better served if you have an S Corp or a C Corp because you can do this little other tax benefit. I want you to listen to me now, okay? If I have an S Corp or a C Corp, I can actually take corporate distributions as dividends as long as my profits are less than $78,000 a year. If I change them to dividends, which is capital gains, I can do that federal tax-free for the rest of my life. And here's the first thing I want to say to your audience. I'm not giving you financial advice. Before you do anything, go consult with a certified public accountant and ask them if this is true. And when you find that it is true, find out what corporate structure you have and make sure you get it lined up properly, because you can have $2 million worth of revenue, AZ, but if your profits are less than $78,000 like Amazon for about 5 years, you can still take advantage of this tax law and pay 0 federal taxes.
That's how these major corporations do it. Because
that's how they do it.
People complain about these major corporations that make so much money, but they don't have to pay any taxes. I always say get you a good CPA, but you're just giving us the game on how that happens.
Exactly. And let me explain this to your audience. They can look this up. I might be off a year or two, but from 2013 to 2017, Amazon Corporation paid 0 federal taxes. Warren Buffett is legendary about bragging that he pays less in taxes than his secretary. And you know why? Because they apply the CAFE Rule 125, and then they apply the dividend distribution law, which I just explained to you together. Thus, they pay hardly nothing in taxes. And that can be applied for you, AZ. So your corporate structure, all you got to do is create your bylaws, assign a office position to you as a director and above. Not for you, AZ, but the title. You just happen to be the owner and the CEO, thus you get those benefits. And that's what I break down in my master class to people. I have corporations, AZ, pay me $1,500 per employee for a half an hour of my time. I recently just did the actual Montgomery Regional Airport in Alabama, 2019 of October. I did all of their financial open enrollment from the CEO to the janitor, and I saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. Didn't I tell y'all at Natural Boss Talk, we bring the heat every time. You always get information that you're not going to find anywhere else. And I bring you the solid people that are going to lead you down the right path. Like this right here is just super mind blowing. So you talk a lot about erasing debt, paying off debt. How can someone pay their home in 7 to 10 years? Like, give us that formula, because that's
all right,
a big thing.
Here you go. Now, most of the people that are watching your show are very educated like you and I. So they're going to know bi-weekly. Okay. So there's a formula. You take bi-weekly payments. Okay. And then you couple those with adding to the principal. Now, if you have a 30-year mortgage, which is the average term of a mortgage, I created another rule. I want you to write this down, AZ. It's called the 50-25 rule. Okay. It's called the 50-25 rule. In essence, what this says is, if you have a 30-year mortgage, the most of the principal that'll be paid down in the 30-year mortgage from the start to 14 years is maximum about 14%. Generally, in the first 7 years, you're paying 98% of interest. Okay. Wow. So if you take the formula of biweekly payments and break down the compounded interest into simple interest, here's what most people don't know. Multiplying interest compoundly only begins after the 12th day of every month. The first 11 days of the month is simple interest, but when it clicks over to the 12th day, it becomes compounded interest. So if you do a biweekly payment, let's keep the math simple. Let's say your mortgage was $1,000. What you would do if your mortgage payment is due on July 1st of this year, you would actually cut that payment in half and make a half $500 payment on like June 27th, June 28th. That would now break the compounded interest, and then you would make the second payment, the $500, by the 11th of that month. That in essence will keep the interest at simple interest. Just from doing that once, AZ, you would knock off 3 years on a 30-year mortgage, and at 3 years you would save $36,000. This is real money. Wow. Now, if you're in position and your property has equity in it and it makes sense, and I'm going to prove to you how this really works, and you're going to understand. If you have the ability, let's say you have at least $50,000 worth of equity in your house, or let's say you have enough equity that you can refinance and still stay under the non-PMI clause, which is private mortgage insurance, right? So now you would refinance and you would go into a shorter term. Now, let's go back to the pandemic and I'll explain how everybody benefited from this. At the beginning of the pandemic, in March of 2020, the central bank lowered the cost of money to the retail banks literally to zero. It was free money. And then 6 months later, the retail bank lowered the interest rates nationally to everybody from 5% down to as low as 2.85%. But here's the problem. They violated the 50-25 rule. Once they were in the refinance, and let's say, AZ, you had bought your house 10 years earlier, what is the natural tendency for you to look for? A lower payment, right?
Right.
So if you had $1,000 payment, I was a mortgage broker. I said, AZ, I can get you with the new interest rates down to $700. You excited, right?
Right. I'll be happy.
but check this out. Here's what you got to know, and they don't even know. If you've been paying on it for 10 years at $1,000, you just put $120,000 towards interest, and you refinance at 3%. You went right back into a 30, and you violate the law, and now you're going to pay for that house 2x more times. But what you should have done, listen up, everybody, you should have took the new term and went into a 15-year mortgage. And if you go into a 15-year mortgage, you'll keep the principal, pay down the equity, and you accelerate down that mortgage in 7 years and own it outright. And I actually teach people that in my masterclass because, again, AZ, I owned a mortgage bank. And I taught people how to do that, and I bought a ton of foreclosures to become financially independent on the passive side in real estate investing.
Man, I know the next question you guys are having is how can we sign up for his masterclass? I already know that's the next question at this point, because these are the things that, you know, we talk about. These are the things that, especially when it comes to finances, I'm trying to understand this type of information and how to maneuver, because just working a job and paying your bills is not going to get you wealthy. It's not going to get you free. It's a strategy behind everything. It's chess, it's not checkers, y'all.
and he's laying the blueprint down. I'm really enjoying this conversation because this is the type of information we want to get out to the people. That was mind blowing right there. Just that whole simple strategy.
Yeah, AZ, if the average professional, even the average American, knew the power of the 50-25 rule, basically, again, if you have a 30-year mortgage at the 15-year rate, that's 50% of the loan, you would think that you have 50% of your house paid off. But because you're paying front-end interest, you generally only have about 25% of the equity paid off. And anytime you refinance, the typical person is not known. They will go back into another 30-year mortgage, even if they've been paying 10, 15 years, and they just give the bank 2-3x more free money.
Man.
So we break that down and explain it to them. And here's another thing that these mortgage brokers won't tell you. They'll tell you there's no such thing as a 10-year loan, a 5-year loan. They're absolutely lying to you. There's 10-year loans, 5-year loans, 1-year loans. But the traditional loans that they are taught to sell you for the high profit, 30-year loans, 20-year loans, 15-year loans, and they even sell 40-year loans. And most people, if you buy a $100,000 house on a 30-year mortgage, you're going to pay $300,000 for that house. But if you apply my principles, work with our organization, you'll pay that house off in 7 to 10 years, and you'll put an extra $139,000 in your pocket, pay off your house, pay off your debt, put your kids through college, and you can only be making $50,000 a year, and I can help you become successful.
Man, do y'all hear that? I have never in my life heard that you can get a 10-year mortgage loan, 5-year mortgage loan. They only sell like I have interviewed plenty of people. I have never heard that a day in my life, y'all.
Now, let me tell you this. Here's the other component. Ask me, how should you buy insurance the proper way? Because that is the biggest challenge in our community is we don't buy insurance the proper way, or we don't even have it.
Yeah. How do we buy insurance the proper way? Because that's something that we don't like to buy, but it's always needed.
Exactly. So think about this. We're now putting the pieces of the puzzle of success together. Here's the last component. Okay. So the first component was to get consumer debt free. The second component, pay off your house and understand how mortgages actually work. The third component, again, just like in the good to great hedgehog concept, it's a 3-legged stool. So the third leg is insurance. Here's how you buy insurance. So I'm gonna ask you this question, AZ. You own a car?
Yeah.
Okay, when you go to the gas station, what is the unit of measurement that you buy gas by?
How much money I want to put in there?
Okay, but typically they tell you the price is based on what unit of measurement?
Yeah, it's like what, $3.49 a gallon?
A gallon. That's what I'm looking for. So write that down. A gallon, right? So you buy gas by the unit of measurement by a gallon. So if you saw it at $3.35 at one station, but across the street it was $3.25, same gas, which station you going to?
The $3.25.
$3.25. All right. So when you go to the grocery store, ladies and gentlemen, and you buy bread, what is the unit of measurement you buy bread by?
The weight, the net weight, the loaf.
What is it called? It's called a loaf, and a loaf is 16 ounces or a pound. And underneath the bread, they tell you what the cost is per pound, right?
Right.
So again, if you saw the high quality 12-gram bread at $1 a pound, and then you saw the same high quality 12-gram bread at 50 cents a pound, which brand of bread are you buying? The one for $1 a pound or the one for 50 cents a pound?
The 50 cents.
All right, so check this out, AZ. Listen to me here. Here's the magic. And again, I am the one that coined this. You buy all types of insurance when everything's equal. If your health, your income, your credit score are all good, you buy it by the cost per thousand. I'm going to say this again. You buy it by the cost per thousand. If somebody asks you, AZ, how much can you afford and how much do you want? Those are the wrong questions. That's just like financing a car. Here's the question you ought to ask them. Once they take your blood pressure, they take your weight, they take your health, they identify 4 different classes on life insurance. It's called Preferred Plus, Preferred, Standard, and it's called rated, which means you have some type of ailment, diabetes or something like that, right? Once all of those are equal, you then ask them, what is my cost per thousand? And I'm going to ask you to do this for your audience. Could you pull up a calculator and I'll show you how magical this works. If you can put a calculator on the screen, I'm going to show you in 30 seconds how powerful the cost per thousand is, that your people will never be victims of buying insurance and being over premium and underinsured.
All right, I got the calendar. I got the
All right,
calculator.
so here we go. So I'm going to show you, okay? I've been on this planet for 5 decades, okay? I have a policy, one of them, that's $500,000. So here's what I want you to do. Put up $500,000. And I want y'all to watch this in a replay. Now, the unit of measurement is cost per thousand. So I want you to divide that by 1,000 because that's the unit of measure. So now I'm only buying 500 units, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now let me tell you what my insurance policy, one of them I pay. So keep that 500. I pay $360 a year for a $500,000 policy, and I'm in my 50s. So pay $360. Press clear. Press clear. Take $360 and divide it by 500 units. That's my cost per thousand. I pay 72 cents for every $1,000 worth of coverage. Now,
Wow.
the average person, if you don't mind me asking, are you in your 30s or your 20s?
My 30s.
Okay, you're in your 30s. Do you have a life insurance policy right now?
No, I do not.
Okay, so let me tell you what typically a life insurance policy for a strong, smart Black woman at age 30 is. It's generally about $70 a month for $500,000. Okay?
Okay.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take $70 times 12 months. That's going to give us $840. Now divide that by the 500 units, which is a $500,000 policy. You're now paying $1.68 for every 1,000. Now, times that, times what I pay, divide it. I pay 72 cents. So divide that by 72 cents. Divided by 0.72. You would typically be paying 2.3 times more for coverage than I do because you don't know the cost per thousand. But since you know the cost per thousand, here's what you should be paying. You should be paying like $20 a month.
Wow.
Yep, because at 72 cents per thousand, since I'm older than you, I pay more just from being older.
Mm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
So now the question is, once you figure out what your credit score is, what your health is, what your income is, now you ask them for what's my cost per thousand. And guess what'll happen, AZ? Most of the insurance agents, they'll have a blank look on their face because they have no clue what you're talking about. Because their first question is, hey, AZ, how much can you afford to spend and how much you want? Because they make their commissions off of this.
Wow.
Now, let me preface this. I'm not here to slander insurance agents because all insurance policies, AZ, have their time and place. So in the master class, I teach you about all the different 12 different insurance policies, from term, return on premium, IULs, VULs, whole lives, and above. And I show you where you are in your life based on what type of insurance that you need. At a young age, you need temporary insurance. At an old age, when you start building up assets, you need permanent insurance or a conversion type policy. And since I don't write policies, AZ, and since I am fully licensed, so I want to show your audience, I am licensed in everything that I talk to you about. I will break down as an advocate to show you exact policy that you should have at the right place, the right time, and then I'll show you what the cost per thousand is. I have saved families millions of dollars in life insurance policies over the past 5 years alone.
Wow. Man, let me tell y'all know I just can't hype it up enough. I can't hype this up enough. This is some amazing information, guys. If you are not asking yourself where is the masterclass and how we can sign up, I'm going to just throw y'all another testimonial y'all way at this point because...
Hi, we're the Johnsons. Last week, we had our complimentary consultation with DJ and decided to rock with DJ, the money coach, because he seemed very knowledgeable about ways we could refinance and pay off our 15-year mortgage within the next 5 to 7 years, which will save us thousands of dollars in the process.
And based on the help that DJ gave us with our mortgage, we felt confident that he would also be able to assist us in other areas of our life, such as investing, real estate, and also a startup business.
And so there you have it, guys. This isn't for play. This is for real. If you really talking about building wealth for the future, building your generational wealth, not working to pay bills, not working to pay mortgages, but actually living on this planet free to do what you want, to do what you love, then you need to definitely be signing up and finding out how you can be a part of DJ Money Coach's masterclass and everything that he has to offer, because he's really giving you the game that and the sad thing is a lot of people aren't even talking about these things. You're like one of the first people I brought on this platform, and I brought people from New York Life Insurance, all types of organizations to talk about finances, and this is new information you're giving us. That's awesome.
I told you I was going to give you some stuff you never heard for this real. And the reality is that I became an advocate for the people. I don't make my money this way. Full disclosure, I'm a full advocate. And let me tell you, here's the reason why. In the mid 90s, my mom was a victim of predatory lending. And my mom was also a victim 3 years at the end of the 90s of identity theft. So I made it my passion. Just like when somebody gets somebody sick in their family, they start a charity in that type of, industry, like, MLS, multiple sclerosis and stuff like that. My passion became financial literacy because I didn't want somebody preying on my mother anymore. So I was able to get my education, AZ, get my mother out of her predicaments. And then I started helping people in my church, which is where I actually created my program. And then I took it to the YMCA, and then I took it nationally. I've actually done financial education for the Illinois Attorney General's Prosecutor's Office. I've done financial predatory lending courses for the state of Michigan state representative, who's now a state senator. And just like I said, as recently, I've done financial education for the Montgomery Regional Airport. And I also represent the largest high school coaching association in all of America. It's called the Texas High School Sports Coaching Association. For 3 years running, AZ, I have been a paid financial educator for the athletic directors and the high school coaches. And I'm also one of the first NIL certified agents as well for the middle class.
Wow. So like you said, this is your three, the hedgehog.
Yep. The hedgehog concept, the three-legged stool. And that's what we'll teach you. So here's what people need to know. And for the business owners, because I want to talk to your business owners as well. Back in 2008, I coined a program called Guide Assets, 3 Steps to Success. I'll teach you how to leverage your business, take that business, create revenue through real estate, commercial real estate, leverage the tax laws. And just to show you guys, I've been doing this since 2008. And I still go across the country right now today. And that's what prolonged me and actually catapulted me into the resort business. I own 7 different asset classes that I work with an organization of professionals that have niches in the mobile home segment, the residential. Me and my high school partner right here, the gentleman right there with the little kufi on, his name is Clarence. He's a sales engineer by profession. He and I created a program that he runs now with his beautiful wife of 25 years called Great Lakes Property Management in Detroit. And we own, operate, and manage, AZ, over 350 properties. And we started that back in 2006.
Wow.
And guess what, AZ? We own them debt-free too.
Wow.
Debt-free. So a lot of people are hot about the Midwest, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit. We've been in that market since 2006. That's just one asset class. We also have an asset class in apartment buildings. Across the country, we run over $30 million worth of apartment buildings from Washington State, St. Louis, Missouri, to Texas, to also Boston as well. And we've been doing that for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And now we're in the resort building business, and we're building a multi-million-dollar resort that will open up at the end of December this year. And they'll have a grand opening in January. And we're doing that grassroots. And this is not something we did overnight, AZ. I want to express that to your people. I let them know we own a real certified business. We celebrated 20 years in business in December, and we basically have crawl, walk, run ourselves methodically to success. The first thing is get out of consumer debt. The second thing, what you want to do is build a business and start getting towards the $8,333 a month in passive income. And then the third thing is you want to create a will, a power of attorney, and a living trust so you can pass it on tax inheritance free to create multi-generational wealth. I teach that all in what's called a Back to Basics masterclass. And what I give you, AZ, for your people, I'm going to give them an extra special. I'm going to give them the full live training with my CPA, my financial planner, and my business credit specialist who actually does corporate credit lines for small businesses and individuals. I'm going to give them a 2-hour masterclass and 2 free complimentary consultations for less than $200. And if the first 10 people hit the link, I'm going to give them an extra $100 off just to celebrate them for Juneteenth, Father's Day just passed, and 4th of July that's coming up, to say thank you for letting me be on your show to share our passion about helping the middle class, and then specifically about helping the Black middle class, unapologetically.
Man, if you guys don't take him up on this offer right away, that's a less than $200.
Yep, this class we charge $997 per person on the corporate side, and at the international level we charge $1,297 per person. I'm going to give it all to your group because the first time I've been on your platform, less than $200. The first 10 people, they'll get it for $97, but that's the first 10 people only. It's going to be the last master class, and guess what? I'm going to do it live from Zanzibar.
Man, if you guys don't invest in that, we spend $100 on so many other things. To invest this amount of money into yourself to give you a wealth of knowledge, like the information is 30 times worth what you're paying for it, and you get to have that information for life, apply it to your life to change your life, and pass it on. If you guys don't take them up on that offer, how can they access the class?
Actually, I think my manager Kadera gave you the link. I think it's the link that you can actually show, and I think we have a wrap out video to actually show them how to access it.
All right, so we're gonna play this video, and then he's gonna give us just a little taste of what I'm excited about, Zanzibar. He's gonna talk about that, and then we're gonna wrap it up, guys. I hope you guys been enjoying this episode. This has been really great, really informative. It's been really good.
Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach, and we're excited to partner exclusively with the Black Travel Expo. That's right, we're going to bring you paradise in Zanzibar. That's right, we're going to teach you how to build business, buy real estate, and leverage the tax laws, and own a piece of paradise on the island of Zanzibar. The first 20 people will also throw in an exclusive one-on-one consultation how to do it with other people's money and other people's time by building business credit from 0 to 100K in 18 months, interest-free. But you have to hit that link and come join me on the Beaches of the World Club with Black Travel Expo. Hit that link. I'll see you in the class.
You hit the link in the description box. It will get you access to the offer that DJ Money Coach is giving you, as well as learning more about Zanzibar. So before we wrap up, can you give us just a little taste? Because I think this is like super amazing, being able, one, to travel, because we love to travel. We all love to travel. But then two, being able to build businesses outside of America and tapping into Africa. And not just the oversaturated Nigeria or South America. I love those places, but you're expanding it, and the place is so beautiful. So just tell us a little bit about what you're talking about with this.
Well, you know what? Zanzibar has always been on my bucket list. My family lineage, we found out, goes back to Cape Verde, which is about a 5-hour flight from Zanzibar, and I always wanted to go to Zanzibar. So long story short, this is what happened. This is the beauty of earning your way to freedom, AZ. Business partner of mine, who I've been doing business with for over 3 years, we talked about going to Zanzibar back in 2021 of August. So I was doing a conference in the ATL. My business partner called me up December 27th, about 11:30 at night. Said, hey, DJ, you ain't going to believe it. I got that bucket list trip for us to go on. I said, which one? Cape Verde? No, Zanzibar. I said, okay, cool. I said, well, how long is it going to take to go? The partner said, Here's the bad news. I've been so busy like you. I was supposed to tell you about this 3 weeks ago. You got to pay a $800 non-refundable deposit within 24 hours because there's only like 4, seats left. I said, no problem. Send me the link. Get it? The partner sent me the link, AZ. I hit it. I got excited. I immediately called my only older sister. I said, Tish, I said, get excited. We're going to Zanzibar, and I'm taking you with me. You ain't paying nothing. She gets excited. Then she started laughing at me. I said, what are you laughing about? She said, RJ is in Zanzibar right now. I said, you talking about RJ, our friend of 23 years? She said, yeah, RJ's in Zanzibar right now. So she gives me his WhatsApp number, AZ. I hit him up on WhatsApp. RJ's sitting on the beach drinking some exotic drink and having a good time. I tell him about my trip to Zanzibar. Here's where the power. I want your people to write this down. This is so important. I teach 5 words that you need to know if you never see me again. Number 1, cooperative economics. That's what you and I are doing right now, cooperative economics. Number 2, leverage your network. How did I meet you, AZ? I met you through a good friend, Dr. Baker, who's a good friend of yours. So there was instantaneous trust. No need for us to doubt each other, right?
Right.
Number 3, ecosystems. My partner had an ecosystem. I created an ecosystem, 7 Fears of Money, and RJ had his own. He tapped me into his ecosystem, and here's the 2 most powerful words you should ever talk about in your vocabulary: equity and ownership. RJ told me he was in Zanzibar, not on vacation, AZ. He was down there for 3 weeks buying property since 2020.
Wow.
I said, wait a minute. I did a lot of research on Zanzibar. I said, man, you can't buy property over there because there's no way for you to be a resident. He said, guess what? They just changed the rule. It's called the Homeowners Condominium Act of 2018. And now once you own $100,000 worth of real estate or a business that produces $100,000 a year in revenue, you can get permanent residence and keep your citizenship in the United States. And then here's the best thing about it, AZ. He said, guess what, DJ? How much you paying for the trip for you and your sister? I said, it's $4,200 per person plus airfare, going to be about $12,500. He said, I get you both down here for the price of 1 trip. And I said, well, I got $800 refund. He said, brother, don't worry about it. If I can't get you what I tell you, I give your money back. Sounds familiar? Satisfaction guarantee, AZ. Guess what? RJ got me the trip for me and my sister. I paid a total of $7,500, and me and my sister went to Zanzibar for 6 nights and 7 days, and we paid $1,500 less than my partner who went as a solo person with the other group.
Wow.
And now here's where the equity and ownership comes in. As soon as I got there, he showed me where he was buying land at. I looked at a townhouse and a condominium, and then the developer, he showed me the layout of the whole resort, and there were 10 buildings. Each one of them, AZ, had 22 to 24 units in it, and it was one he didn't have a number on. And so I just asked him, I said, hey, what's up with that building right there? It's N5 or something like that. He said, yeah. I said, is that accounted for? He said, what, you mean you want to buy a unit in that? I said, no, the whole building. He looked at me like I was crazy, AZ. I said, how much is the whole building, which would represent 12% ownership in the whole development? And he still thought I was crazy because he said, wait a minute, RJ is buying with his partner like 7, 8 properties, and not even in this whole development, but through 2 other developments. You talking about you want to buy the whole building from me right now? I said, absolutely. I explained to my network. He took me for my word as a man. I shook his hand, and he told me what the price is. I said, guess what, my friend? This 100% black-owned tequila, 100% organic, costs more than the building that you're selling me, and I was able to raise $5 million for this in 60 days. I'm pretty sure I can raise $5 million for that building. And that's what I did, AZ. I became his partner playing master chess. But on top of that, AZ, I went above beyond that. I also bought the whole gym for the whole resort. And now, AZ, we're actually building ancillary businesses for waste management, transportation, excursion, and concierge to actually support all the B2B business. Even if nobody stays inside the resort, these services still must be done. I will own with our business team, and you too, 25 to 30% of every company that tries to do B2B business with us in the resort. It's a $1.3 billion play that we will actualize by 2027. And I'm actually going to teach your people how to do that in this master class. And I'm going to do it live from Zanzibar. And I'm going to give them a live tour of all the developments, and I'm going to show them step by step how to create residency, how to build businesses, deal with accountants, deal with attorneys in the masterclass.
Man, okay, I need to just go on and reserve my spot to this masterclass ASAP.
You need to go on and get your spot, girlfriend.
I'm about to go get my spot right now.
The expo was lit. Show. I was the keynote speaker at the largest Black travel expo in the United States. Last Saturday, I closed out the joint, teaching them about take a bite out of Zanzibar. B for buy, I for invest, T for travel, and E for experience exclusively with DJ the Money Coach and the Black Travel Expo. And we're going to have equity and ownership of a $109 billion industry that we spent $109 billion. Did you hear me? We spent $109 billion, AZ, and we own less than 2% equity and ownership. But guess what? We flipped the script. You're looking at a grandmaster chess player with a team that I built 20 years, including Dr. Baker. And by the time of 2027, we will own 30% of everything in 4 resorts on Zanzibar.
Man, it's like y'all building a Black Wakanda for real.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We are building 4 resorts. 1 is already complete. Mine will be complete at the end of December. And we're building 2 flagship resorts that we just broke ground on June 2nd. Those will be completed 2027, 2028. And again, I will tell everybody how we do it in this live masterclass from Zanzibar.
And so make sure you guys click the link in the description, get your spot for the live masterclass, tap in, make sure you're in Zanzibar, February 2024 for the Black Travel Expo. And it's definitely time, y'all. It's time to really put our mouth where our money is, put our money where our mouth is, and really make generational wealth. I thank you so much, DJ Money Coach, for coming onto this platform and just sharing this wealth of knowledge that you are sharing completely just for us to share. Sign up for his masterclass. Give us some last words before we log off.
All I would tell you is I wish you one thing, AZ, and all your audience and the people watching this replay. I wish you nothing but exceptional health. That's the only thing that's almost impossible to overcome is super bad health, okay? So the second thing from there, I would teach you your children are the number 1 most important assets on this planet. We should start educating our children. If you can pick up a football, a basketball, golf club, a violin, or win the spelling bee, you can start learning about money smartly as early as 7 years of age, AZ. So we actually teach our children how to buy dividend stocks. We teach them how to be entrepreneurs from the age of 7. We actually have a youth program that we teach. So I want you to forget about us. If you have children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews, get them into this environment so they can learn how to become multi-millionaires at an early age. We teach inside the class how you can show a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old how their parents can put aside $100 a month until they're 25. They'll have $1 million in the bank and nothing they can do because it's pure math. So that's the second thing. And the third thing, again, if you don't have equity and ownership, ladies and gentlemen, stop promoting it. I don't wear anything or promote anything that we don't own something in it. And if I am, it's generic. You won't be able to tell where it comes from because I just don't subscribe to that. 5.5 decades on this planet. I have 4 children, and everything I do is about their legacy. So stop putting on the red bottoms. Stop promoting Gucci and Fendi and all that BS and start promoting you. Equity and ownership. And you got to start with practicing cooperative economics. Number 2, leverage your network. If you're the smartest person in your network, you need to level up to another network. Dr. Baker's smarter than me, so I'm part of his internal network. And then the third thing, have an ecosystem. That means you built a system like a wheel that has a center and then spokes are coming out of it to create multi-generational wealth. That's what the other people do, and that's the problem with our community. So that's what I would like to leave you with. Last but not least, I wish your people a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind. Come join us on the beaches of the World Club, and let's do it in Zanzibar because it's a movement. And God bless you.
Thank you so much, DJ the Money Coach, for coming onto this platform. We will be bringing him back, and we are going to be doing this live. Y'all know we're doing it recorded, but we're bringing him back live so y'all can be asking questions and interacting because, you know, this brother has a wealth of knowledge we ready. We're ready for this wealth, for this knowledge, and I'm ready to hit them beaches in Zanzibar. So follow the link in the description. Sign up, guys. Sign up and find out how you can continue, how you can start on this path of generational wealth. Again, I thank you so much for coming onto the platform, and I can't wait to bring you on again.
Thank you very much. It was a privilege and an honor. Thank you, AZ. You have an amazing show. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.